Thanksgiving Eve, the eve of Thanksgiving. I've never really heard anyone say, like, oh, man, we had a great Thanksgiving Eve. Like Easter or 4th of July. You wouldn't say, oh, man, 4th of July Eve, what a great party. But then New Year's Eve is so popular, they don't even talk about the most important thing, which is New Year's Day. So, and then Christmas Eve, obviously. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say anything about this, but Christmas Eve, some people know so much about Christmas that there's such a thing as Christmas Eve, right? And that happened to me, and I stayed, I won't get into much of it. I stayed in this, it was a very nice house. I stayed with my best friend at the time, and his mom was living not in an intimate way or whatever, with this guy. And, he was extremely gay. Well, extremely gay. I'm sorry, that's stupid. He was gay. But, he was also extremely, I don't know if my neighbor's gay, but if this guy was my neighbor, I'd know this guy was gay. And he owned it, like this house over in this historic neighborhood in, trying to think the kind of south central Oklahoma City, like a historic neighborhood kind of thing. And, I was going to Texas with my family. I wasn't able to drive. Because I was 15. And we stayed at this place. I don't know. It was just, I'm not going to get into that. But the thing was, his cousin was in town. And so I guess, they were going to spend the holidays over there at this guy's place. And so I went over there, that's not unusual. To go to what his family or his mom was doing. And so we went over to that historic home. And like I said, he was gay. And my friend's cousin had come into town. I'm not going to tell you her name. And she was like a year younger than us. And I don't know why she was there, really. Her uncle, she must have come in with her uncle. I think he drove a Volvo. But I'm not sure that's how they got to Oklahoma. They lived in Texas, so I don't know. And I've seen that Volvo. I don't know. Volvos are reliable cars, and I guess you just take what you can get. I don't know how they got there. And so we wound up like 4 or 5 people. Like I said, she already lived there, and he owned the place, and then he had a boyfriend, and so that guy was there, and then it was like 4 of us, 4 of the other people, and it was just funny because, we were so young. I don't, I'm thinking about it. He had alcohol, like hard liquor. I don't know what it was. It was something fancy, and I don't just say that because he was gay. It was just like it wasn't just like tequila shots or something. But the adults had gone to bed, so it was just like me and my friend and then his cousin that were staying up with this guy in his den or whatever, in this really big, it was a really pretty house. Man, I can't imagine what that house would be worth today. And I'll just go ahead and say this in terms of the equity that someone might want to throw at it. The deal with this house was it was claimed to have been haunted. Right? It wasn't. I didn't look it up. I didn't microfiche it at the library at the time to make sure that no one was lying. But that was my understanding from the people there. They didn't say it to like, oh, be careful when you go to bed, kids. A ghost will get you. They were just like, someone had been murdered there. That was the thing. It was that the home there had been a murder in the home, and if people, and in my experience there that one night, I did not experience that. I experienced other things, but I'm not going to get into that. But so it was just like us three kids hanging out with this dude. I guess his boyfriend had gone to bed or something. And my friend's cousin, that's fine. She was 14 or whatever. And she was like, well, and the guy, we were all just talking, and he was, I keep wanting to say the word plying, right? Because it's a good word, but that was not the case at all. Believe me, no one was plying, and he shouldn't have been serving alcohol to 15 and 14-year-olds, but, we all had a couple of nips or whatever. I think, I don't want to misspeak. I don't think he had whippets. I don't know if you know what a whippet is. And if you do, you should whip it good. But if you know what a whippet is, like I can't remember the propulsion agent, the accelerant, whatever you call it, the thing basically the thing at the bottom of the whipped cream can. I can't swear that he had that or that we did that. I can't swear that we didn't. But anyway, so, we're all just sitting around in this very congenial Christmas Eve atmosphere. And he says, the homeowner says something random just about men or something. And the Johnson, oh shit, I didn't mean to say his name. Scratch that. Shit, I'm so good at not saying anyone's name. I was lying. Let's just say I was lying. Prometheus's cousin was like, oh, man, gay people, I think that's so disgusting and all that. I can't believe all that. And the guy hadn't said he was gay. He just made some comment about something that spurned her into her comment. And he, and she went on about that just for, 30 seconds or a minute or whatever. And then he looked, just calmly and kindly looked at her and was like, I'm gay. And, 14 years old, she did a very good job. 15 years old, I did a very good job. Everyone did a good job. Because, she wasn't like, ooh, or what. It's hard for me to remember all the details, but she wasn't like, ooh, or I want to leave, or mom, or whatever. Her mom wasn't there. I think her mom's dead. And she was just like, oh, I don't remember the details, but, and he was fine with it, and she was fine with it, and my friend, Harold, which is not his real name, was fine with it. So that went on, and I wonder what the deal is with the karaoke story. I'm going to tell you one karaoke story. It's Thanksgiving. Oh, that was the whole deal. That was the whole deal. That was going to be a Thanksgiving story.